Welcome to our next video of 2019's worst of 2019 list. Now, you might have to excuse a little bit of the quality we're using. We're using a different camera this time on my laptop because unfortunately my battery had a charge on my camera. So the lighting might not be as good and the audio quality might not be as good as the other one. So we apologize for the different camera we're using. But we decided that since we did our best of 2019 list, we decided to get to now the most pieces of shits that we saw of 2019 that infuriated us, and basically made our shit list of last year.
However, last year wasn't as complicated of choices compared to, I would say, the best of list, which was real hard to choose because we had too many movies.
Yeah, there was a lot.
It was like fucking 20-something movies. I said 20 movies in the best of, where we had a hard time cutting down. And like we said in that review, we always do our 3 dishonorable, honorables, and then our top 10 list in this.
Yeah.
And yeah, there were a few bad movies that I wish would have made my list, but like he said, this is our 3 dishonorable mentions and our top 10 worst that we fucking hated this year.
Yeah, and there were some movies that we unfortunately didn't get to, surprisingly, that I've heard actually a lot of fucking bad shit about, like The Haunted of Sharon Tate.
Yeah, we didn't see that one. I'm
sure it would have made our list if we seen it.
Yeah.
This is definitely was a year for quite a lot of bad movies.
Yeah, there's other films, like example, Pet Cemetery, which pissed me off. I did not like the film, but it's a lot worse film. So, without further ado, we get in our list. Is 3 dishonorable mentions.
Well, starting with my 3 dishonorable mentions, my number 3, I have The Intruder, which I will admit that did have an unintentionally hilarious kind of feel. So it's kind of low.
Check out our review. Our thumbnail is priceless.
Yeah. And then number 2, I have The Curse of La Llorona. And my number 1, I have Dark Phoenix.
And my dishonorable mentions is, like he said in his one, my number 3 is X-Men Dark Phoenix. That was a big fuck you. That big middle finger should never been made, and it was made out of hatred for going to a new studio.
Well, that's also supposedly how it's going to show the New Mutants, because that's their last one they're doing.
Yeah, that one. I'm talking
about. Yeah.
And my number 2, Hellboy. Pointless fucking movie. Should never been made. Should have brought back the original Ron Perlman and Toro. This didn't need remade.
Yeah.
And my number 1, which I actually wish this film would have made my top 10 worst, because this was probably, there's other films I'll get to here in a second there. As far as closing out a series, this movie pissed me off to no fucking end. This was pointless. The 4th one was the best ending of the franchise. Rambo Last Blood is my number 1 of my dishonorable mentions. Fucking Stallone, you fucking had it with Rambo 4. Why did you make this fucking piece of pointless shit that led to nothing? Didn't feel like a fucking Rambo movie.
Exactly.
So that's my dishonorable mentions. I'll get our top 10 worst of 2019.
Now, if I had a separate category before I get to my list, The Fanatic was, I was thinking about putting in my dishonorables, but because these other movies I figured were...
I felt like that was the room
That was the more of like the room quality, so that one is on a different level as far as bad movies. So
actually, it's so bad, it's so funny that I just can't hate the movie.
Yeah. So it didn't reach my list, but it was pretty bad, don't get me wrong, but on a different level. But start with my number 10, I have Good Boys. Talk about a film that...
I wanted that in my list too, but
this was a film that, even from the trailers, I was fucking dreading because, look, I like raunchy comedies, and I like movies that deal with like pre-adolescent, heightened dilemmas and dilemmas and shit like that. There's plenty of movies that deal with like kids at a young age getting into stuff, and there's some raunchy comedies where, well, most of them are involve teenagers, but ones that do them good, like Superbad and all of them, they have that mentality because they at least keep the humor more organic. They keep it more timed well.
They're able to branch both raunchiness with, like you said, kind of unique.
Yeah.
Like Jonah Hill and all them and Superbad.
Or even
Superbad is a best example because Superbad, I still love that movie.
I do too.
It's fucking hilarious.
This one is more the equivalent of South Park, but done in the wrong way. Because I actually, the early stuff with South Park, I enjoyed. I even enjoyed the movie of it. So it was like if you took a live action of that, but sucked all the fun out of it and sucked all the humor
not
that
to
was
mention
good out of
it wanted to be the little boy version of Superbad, but the guy who directed it got the movie Superbad totally wrong, even though that was a raunchy comedy.
Yeah.
There was other stuff it had, like style and so
Yeah,
on,
I got you.
performance-wise.
Now, the only
story.
One of the reasons I put this one kind of low on my list is because the movie did kind of have a heartfelt message that I kind of, at the end of it, that kind of, not really say it, but I get what the movie was going for. So the movie at least tried to do something with that.
And I will say this, Jacob Tremblay, when he first became an actor, he was doing like pretty much Oscar-level movies.
Rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did
and stuff like that.
And Wonder.
Jacob Tremblay. These are the type of films that ruin people's careers.
Yeah.
Don't do this again.
You got lucky with Dr. Sleep.
Yeah. Don't do this shit. Because this will ruin your fucking acting career.
Yeah.
This movie was bad. I wish I would have put it on my list, but it's all far worse films than he did. So, yeah, like you said, it was horrible. Like,
it was annoying.
Comedy.
It was
oversaturated.
It was forced. It felt a lot of forced humor that was just so like it was like nails on a chalkboard bad.
Yeah.
And not a good and even it was just flat out awful. Yeah. But yeah, it's my number 10.
Yeah. All right, my number 10 is Serenity. Oh, what a film! This film starred Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway, and I think
Jason Clarke.
Jason Clarke, that's who it was. And this film was marketed as a thriller type Unforgivable, where the girl comes up to somebody and needs her abusive husband to die. But boy, was this movie marketed fucking wrong. I don't know if it was in the bad way. I was so fucking lost of what was going on as the movie progressed. It starts out incredibly fucking boring as shit. So I'm thinking, okay, it's just standard, extremely boring, horrible performance, looks poorly done.
Mm-hmm.
And then this film just does a fucking 180. What the fuck am I watching? Matthew McConaughey's performance. Just, oh my god, man. What the fuck was he thinking in this? He starts going like where he's like, I'm losing my mind. Like, the fuck is going on? He's doing that worse. His performance gets worse as the movie progresses.
Like I remember you saying his performance was like on that level of Johnny Depp in like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, on that weird type of.
But if you did that and put him into a straight to B-rated movie, or put him in Unforgivable,
yeah,
and it just becomes like, then you wouldn't like Johnny Depp's performance, and you're like, what the fuck is he doing? He's like doing that, and like, what the fuck? And then Anne Hathaway, she's had one hell of a train wreck here. I didn't see the other fucking chick flick movie she was in, The Hustle, but I heard that was also on everyone's top worst. So she's pretty much can own the top 2 worst movies of this year. Mm-hmm. So anyways, her performance is fucking shit. Jason Clarke is pointless in this movie. What the fuck is he even doing in here?
Yeah.
He's just an abusive bastard. Hell, I could go get fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street to play that role.
Yeah.
I fucking probably do it better. But anyways, this film gets really bizarre as we come to find out that it's in a video game. And Matthew McConaughey lost his son. His son made a video game, but then he's dead, possibly. I don't know what the fuck. This movie never made no fucking sense.
It was random, like you were saying, too.
It's just like, you can't make a movie. I mean, they're probably better off just making a standard kill my boyfriend movie. And it would have been forgettable, boring piece of shit. Cool. I don't never watch it again. Cool. But this film does that and then introduces something totally different. Like, can you imagine Unforgivable? And at the end, if you've ever seen that movie, yeah, Unforgettable, Katherine Heigl, and then she was dead, and then Ready Player One comes into the movie in the mix, and it's a video game the whole time. I get maybe the concept, but this was the worst execution of that concept I've ever seen.
It was just, what the fuck was that?
Yeah,
it's just like you were saying in your review. It was unoriginal. It was original, but it was just like it was like watching a train wreck.
It was an unexperienced director. Like, seriously, the format of the film felt like, okay, sixth graders, we got a project to do. Make me a movie, and it felt like some kids made it.
Yeah. Or
maybe the parent wrote 3/4 of the movie and say, "Son, what should I put in the last act? Video games, Daddy." That's basically what the fucking movie was, because it made absolutely no sense. So that's my number 10, Serenity.
Fair enough. My number 9 is actually Serenity, a film that, like we were discussing, it's the same kind of level. Like, the movie is just out of this world. Like, what am I watching here? This movie is just like undeceivable. Now, granted, it's kind of original, and I kind of like am enthralled. Like, it's so unpredictable in what it does, but in a bad way, because you have scenes where Matthew McConaughey is constantly going through like this fucking cornfield, which I thought were on the set of fucking Interstellar again, which is funny because him and Anne Hathaway.
What's up with that little fucking dude that's following him around? Who the fuck was that?
Yeah, the guy who looked like Jared Fogle looking dude too.
Well, no, yeah, I meant to mention that. There's this guy, and he just randomly pops in like he's some kind of messenger, and he's very plain, and he looked like Jared Fogle. And like, there's scenes where he's just standing, and he's wearing a briefcase, or he's wearing a suit and holding a briefcase, and he's just waiting on Matthew McConaughey. Every fucking scene this movie pops up, just like wait on him. Wait, I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And then he just starts walking in the fucking ocean.
Just at the beginning where
what the fuck?
At the beginning he's like moving around the ocean and shit. I'm like, what am I watching here?
Basically, he's like a messenger guy.
Yeah. And you know what it reminded me of too? Remember off of Jurassic Park 3, that game show kind of dude off of that?
Yeah.
It's like if you took that character and put him in this movie, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. At the end of the movie?
Yeah.
Hey, are you Dr. Grant? Yeah, I thought that's what he was saying.
No, you did end up on the island. So, yeah, but the movie is just like full of itself, because there will be a lot of rinse and repeat scenes where you have Matthew McConaughey go on a fucking fishing boat, and then you have scenes where he's fucking Diane Lane in every scene.
Matthew McConaughey's party year. Because he did
the bum beach. The beach bum.
Beach bum. And then he had this, so it made me think that he's on just like that laid back, he's a cool stoner looking guy.
Yeah.
But how do you go from like doing movies like Wall Street and Dallas Buyers Club and shit like this?
Yeah.
Why? Why do this? I would have looked at the script and say, what the fuck? I ain't getting involved with that.
Like, I'm a high actor.
He just does, he takes anything, I guess.
Well, that's true. But I want to be like, no, man, it's not right. It's something different.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's one of those movies that, too, like, the movie is just like, you got like weird scenes too, where he's like fucking jumping in the ocean and he's seen his like son as a mermaid or whatever.
Yeah,
I was like, what in the hell is this?
That's what I'm saying. The movie is just so like,
and not
just a splotch of blender.
And Anne Hathaway, she sounds like she's something out of a weird fucking softcore porn kind of like sex line. If you put
she's a forced
Jessica Rabbit kind of esque. And
it made no fucking sense for her to act like that. The other tone of the movie, while it don't have a tone, it make no fucking sense.
Exactly. Now, I will admit, granted, this is on a different level, but she did look pretty sexy as a blonde. I'll give her that. Yeah. But yeah, I get what you're saying. She was awful in this. And this movie just, it was one of those, it was boring, but then I was like enthralled by watching it because of how fucking batshit crazy it is. It just gets weird. And then the last ending, when it gets to the video game stuff, I was like, whoa, that's just like, what the fuck?
If I were to smoke the greatest high quality amount of weed, and I would just spend stoned and out of this world and watching, the movie probably would have been trippy.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Am I stoned or is this not making up? But anyways, yeah.
Yeah. So that's my number 6 or my number 9.
This number 9, unfortunately, he doesn't agree with me on this. It didn't make any of his list, but I didn't like this movie at all. I thought, while I didn't even like the first one, but that one was more okay. I forget about it. This one, I thought they took satire to a very poor level, and that's my number 9 is Happy Death Day to You, the sequel to the first film that came out, I think
2017,
yeah, 2017, 3 years almost. And while that film, going back at then, I actually didn't care for it. It just was just blah. And I mean, I get it was trying to. I like the whole Groundhog Day theme because we were in the Groundhog Day theme of that year.
We had that after or the year after. No,
before
fall or something.
Before fall. And basically, I get what it was trying to do, but I just couldn't get into it. There's just films you just can't get into.
Well, yeah, and it didn't help that, and I agree to an extent. It didn't help that it was a PG-13 slasher film for one.
I'm not a big fan of those.
But I at least understood what the first one was going for.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it didn't make my list because the movie, it wasn't good. It was way below the first one, but I looked at it because there was some things I didn't mind so much with the movie. Yeah. And there was still some moments that I actually thought were good.
See, here's the problem with my issue with the film. Like I said, already for the get-go, you already know I don't care for the first one.
Yeah.
And then when we saw the trailers, it seemed like they were going to go more comedy, which, okay, at this point, it's just batshit.
And they're going more sci-fi.
Sci-fi. Well, we didn't know that yet. I'm talking about what we got from the trailers.
More from the trailers, yeah.
And we got, okay, now it's just going to be a dark comedy, real funny, and then going back to the original roots of the first one. And then there's more to the story and stuff. And like, I already didn't care for the first one, so when I watched this, I'll tell you right now, the new cast in this film annoyed the fucking piss out of me. They're very overly saturated, millennial-ish.
Yeah, I got you.
Generation Z, whatever you call this new generation.
Or Y.
Very
Z, I think is in everyone.
It's very bookwormy-ish cast. I don't know how to explain it. Try not to fucking be discriminative, but they came off as forced. Somebody I would see part of the Me Too-ish type thing, like politically motivated, which actually that one girl was really politically motivated. The one that was kind of all nerdy-ish looking.
Yeah, I remember.
And she annoyed the fucking piss out of me. The satire funniness just did not hit any type of level with me. In fact, it was like fucking nails on a chalkboard. The film went so batshit crazy to the point now it's time traveling. They're going to space, possibly in the next one.
Probably.
And I get that at this point they don't give a fuck because it's supposed to be for fun, but I'm not having fun with these. They don't click with me. And I felt like it was worse. And I'll tell you what really killed it, it just nailed me in the coffin, was while it, instead of paying homage to the first one by going try time travel, I get that. They got to go back to the first movie, going back to the future type shit with this. They really have to, I get it's a Groundhog Day film, but they had to do everything to a T, and nothing was really changing for a while.
Yeah.
It's like, aren't you going to change the whole past and do something instead of me seeing the same exact scene done 8 fucking times in a row?
Yeah, I agree.
Before you finally fucking change it.
Yeah, I agree. That did get really repetitive to the point that okay, you really need to fucking do something already with this.
And the fucking slow-mo where they all blow up and stuff, and it's just. I was doing this in the whole theater. I mean, he didn't mind. thought first one was okay or whatever.
Yeah, I thought the first one was decent. The second one, it was a drop.
I guess it was.
It was one of those movies that I saw it. It's forgettable, but there were still moments in the film that I didn't mind so much. And given for what they at least try to do somewhat with its story, I kind of like went along with it. It was just one of those movies that I watch it and it's just kind of there. Yeah. Not really I got pissed off with, but I will admit there were points where like I was with you on where I was like, okay, this is getting annoying. This is getting really out of fucking hand. And that ending, I will admit, fucking pissed me off because it set up a third movie, which, yes, ironically enough, it's not getting one, even though the movie was successful. Yeah. So they're not even doing a third one now.
I don't see. I mean, I get that satire. It just wants to go batshit crazy.
Right.
In fact, it's gonna probably beat fucking Fast and Furious to it on the form of out of this world, like, all right, we're going to space, because I think that's when it ended up with.
Yeah, I think
they end where they're going to go time traveling.
No, I forgot how it ended, but I know that they were set up some weird fucking shit where I think it was going to space or something.
Yeah.
But whatever the case was, it was stupid, and it really, to me, honestly, what kills it, it ruins the impact of the rest of the film, really. So really, it kind of ruined the movie altogether. What I thought was already going for.
I didn't care for it.
But no, I get what you're saying. But I will admit, that ending fucking ruined it.
Yeah. Well, that's my number 9. Happy Death Day to you.
Fair enough. My number 8 is Men in Black International, a film that already from the trailers, I knew something just wasn't right because I love the other 3 movies. Now, I don't love 2, but I love 1 and 3. And even though it's great, 2, I still think had its fun moments. It had more entertaining, and plus the chemistry was still there with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, the second one. So
it kind of reminded me of the Die Hard series.
Yeah, kind of
1 and 3 is hold dear to your heart. 2 had the entertaining, but it wasn't.
On par because, well, to me, 2 was just like lackluster. I remember when I was a kid, I enjoyed 2 actually. When I was a kid, but when I grew up, I started like, yeah, that villain, I'm just not really digging the story in this, so it's really a drop. But the third one, I will admit, I think was a great closure, and it was coming back something really good. And so with the new one, it got me only interested on concept wise. I can see what they were trying to do, going in international where there's aliens everywhere. I get what they wanted to do. Yeah, I get what they want to do as far as the international agency, and I like the casting involved with Chris Hemsworth and Tess Thompson because they worked so well with the Avengers or with the Thor movies. Yeah, with Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Endgame. But yeah, after upon seeing the film, this was a film that. It annoyed the shit out of me. It was boring as hell, and I really just didn't really fucking care. Like, I didn't really laugh. Like, I mean, I maybe like smirked maybe probably at one point. And I liked the little, small little callback we get with Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. But even then, this movie was just a fucking nothing movie for me. Like, the only interesting thing I think they could have went with, but they wasted it, was Rebecca Ferguson's character. And granted, she had her high point in Dr. Sleep, but she was the only thing I thought was interesting as far as what they're going for. Yeah. And even that was wasted. So this movie was not only, the chemistry was not there. I mean, this time around, like, I still think that their chemistry could have been better if it was more of a better writer. And I think also I read that the director who did this, he actually didn't get a final cut approval because apparently the producers had civil interference involved where they took away his cut. So I think actually is what we got was basically the result of a pretty messy movie. So yeah, the movie just had fucking lame fucking jokes, aliens I did not give a shit about, and a villain reveal that was very reminiscent of fucking Mission Impossible and the first one with the whole mole shit going on. And it was just like, it was just a really nothing movie. Like, and all the stuff involving with and it didn't even feel like a Men in Black film for in the first hour of it, after the first hour, because then they start doing other shit. It's more James Bond-esque. It didn't feel like Men in Black. Yeah. And so, yeah, this was a waste, but I mean, I wasn't in like that really pissed off level. I was just wanting to just get out of there because I watched the movie where I didn't have to pay for it, so I got it in for free. And when I watched it at the theater, so yeah, that was the movie that I'm not going to ever watch again, probably. So that's my number 8.
My number 8 is The Curse of La Llorona, and this is a film, again, part of the Conjuring universe, and part of the curse of the fucking spin-offs, aside from Creations and with the Comes Home. And this film is introduced us to another world of Conjuring, which also was clever because it wasn't part of the Conjuring movies per se. They introduced it, but it's based off of actual legend.
Yeah.
And for Latinos and Mexicans, and it's a true ghost story of them, kind of like Candyman is to us, or Bloody Mary,
like that kind of lore.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah.
Or legend. So to speak.
Legend, yeah. So this one film, again, soft. I already knew it was going to be fucking, just by the looks of it, like the fucking Nun.
Mhm.
This movie was fucking shit. In fact, I believe I've talked to a couple of people who are familiar with Legend in Mexico, and they basically said this was pretty much a mockery of the Legend, and that whoever did the film didn't do their research whatsoever.
Yeah.
Did kind of read maybe 4 lines and say, okay, that's what it is, and didn't read the whole fucking paragraph.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the I was not scared. The La Llorona was forced scares. Jump scares were all over the fucking place. They were fucking lame. The cast and the kids were fucking generic. I've seen them in other ghost movies.
Yeah. And they bring up something interesting with like the priest, but even that's really like not really explored much.
Yeah, there's no exploration. It's very subpar and just throwing as a standardness. It's just like
it's like a on a, how do you describe it? It's like,
I'll tell you what really why this movie made my list was on top of how bad every fucking thing is and the stupid PG. I mean, hell, you can probably Walt Disney this motherfucker because there's so many fucking just and then that's it.
Yeah.
There's like really nothing you see. But what kills it the most was how fucking boring this movie was.
This was actually,
I about fell asleep and I had a hard time staying awake.
Yeah, this was one of those movies that it was so uninteresting. I actually just was ready to leave because I was just like, there's nothing in this film that's interesting. Because even the Nun and even the other Conjuring spinoffs, I at least had stuff that was interested in stuff that they were doing. But this one, there was nothing to this because, first of all, it's not explored. We barely even know who the fuck this ghost is. And even when we do, it's uninteresting.
Well, here's the problem also. The other films like The Nun and all them, well, shit. They introduce them and kind of have like a history and build on the background with The Conjuring, and then they spin off and they do the shit. Granted, they turn out mostly shit. The problem with this film is they said this was just some movie, and for the sake of box office money, they just stamped Conjuring on it.
Yeah.
This is the only one that didn't get introduced anywhere and just says, "Oh, it's going to be Conjuring."
The idea.
I think that was a shit marketing.
Yeah, I understand. The idea of it. If you want to expand upon the lore of the Conjuring universe, I understand. Because there's other films and franchises and horror movies that do that. But you look at the story and context-wise in this. I mean, yeah, it may have the bare basics like the Conjuring movies do, but honestly, it feels more akin like if you took like remember the Hellraiser movies they did, like later sequels, and you just happen to have them have like elements there, but really do their own thing. It's kind of like that.
Back when they're forced to because they had a contract.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, take that movie you were going to call Body Snatching Phreeks and just stamp the word Hellraiser on it. Put Pinhead for 5 minutes and it's a Hellraiser movie.
Yeah, I was like,
that's basically what this movie did with Conjuring. And I think it was actually done at the last second because they felt like the film wasn't going to make no money.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, about fell asleep. This is the worst of the Conjuring since it's the part of the universe. Mm-hmm. It's the worst.
It was lucky it had worst. Annabelle Comes Home because it was really rare that it was a rare occasion you see 2 Conjuring films in the same year, but unofficially, this one really didn't feel like much of it. In fact, you know what's weird? Because we talked about this in the review, it didn't even really feel like it was in the 60s. Because really...
Yeah, that was the thing. The production design is another thing. Glad you brought that up. Totally forgot about that. It's a forgettable movie. This movie was supposed to be in the 60s, and it literally looks like it was shot in 2019.
Yeah,
like,
it did.
in present times. I was like, this is gonna be the most worst fucking lazy production design I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, it didn't really come across as much like it was
And
resembling
not only
the
that,
60s.
the people's demeanor don't even act like something from the 60s.
Yeah.
They act like fucking today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was another thing. But, yeah, that's my number 8, The Curse of La Llorona.
Yeah, this was a film that it just made my honorable list because it was just so like it is the worst. Don't get me wrong, but I just felt like I don't know. I was just kind of really just wanting to go, and I didn't really have much of anything out of it because it was just a nothing movie for me. It was uninteresting and it was boring as shit, and it was just blah. So yeah, my number 7 is a film that I could understand what they were going for, but you still fucking failed, and that's the reboot of Hellboy.
And I had that in my dishonorable mention. So
yeah, this movie, this is one of the worst comic book films I've seen in years. I'm talking about like fucking Green Lantern bad, batshit fucking bad.
you can see Ron Perlman and Del Toro or Guillermo del Toro's presence gone.
Yeah,
completely.
The first 2 films I enjoy. Now the second one I prefer more over the first one, is from what I remember. But I still enjoy those first 2 movies, even though I haven't seen 2 in a long time. I still thought they had atmosphere. They had a lot of creativity with its world they set up. The characters were fun. All this shit they wanted to go for. I understand it's a new age. You want to try to go more with the comics because comics are pretty brutal. They wanted to appeal for more of the comic readers, which I have heard from some people that read the comics. It is more faithful in that regard, but it's still, this is a problem when you go too much trying to pander to the fucking comic books, where actually you try to do that, but you lack a fucking story, because this film is the most bare bones that you could do of a fucking characters as far as Hellboy, and anyone else even that joins them.
And not only that, they managed to make Hellboy fucking irritating and seem like a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah,
it makes you hate him. He's a crybaby.
Yeah, that he has some of the most like cheap lines that come out of David Harbour with the writing that's given. So it's really more of the writing than his performance, because I actually didn't mind his performance. Yeah. He was part of the cast, but you could see that the direction that it would have been a lot better had they get someone more into the style of Hellboy.
And I'll give you one thing too. Another thing that pissed me off. Holy shit, the CGI.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, it gave me a fucking headache.
There were some like good gore in some scenes, but most of it's fucking covered up by the shitty CGI everywhere. Yeah. Oh god. Now I will admit though, it did have some pretty creative witches, but they're fucking wasted, like they always are in movies. Except for, in my opinion, The Witch and Hansel and Gretel. Yeah, those were the last ones I can think of.
Yeah.
But yes.
And of course, you can't forget.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, this movie was such a fucking colossal of uninteresting characters that have really such the most generic personality.
How the fuck can you do that fucking sea creature dude that way? You made him a fucking nobody in this one.
Yeah, because
his part, that one thing.
Yeah, it looks like the creature. Yeah, they bring him in as a lead up to a sequel in the next one.
Yeah,
and then they get these other characters that we get rushed fucking backstories that are told to us, and then we see like small flashbacks. Yeah. And this movie is nothing but dialogue, stuff that we already fucking know and everything. Yeah. It's basically the equivalent of watching, remember Last Airbender? It's on that level of how fucking bad the dialogue is. All exposition, then action scene. That's not good fucking storytelling. No. And plus, Mila Jovovich, she was really awful in this movie, man. She was even worse than.
I know.
Than fucking that I've seen her in that movie Future War or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Future World, and just all the things that they push out where all the likability of Hellboy was gone. We don't get like the with cats and stuff like that. And we're supposed to be knowing who he is at the beginning. Like, we're already jumped in there with no fucking build-up. Yeah. This is what you call a very rushed. And maybe
they should have just waited when Ron Perlman wanted to do a third one.
Yeah.
And if it didn't happen, just Don't worry about it right now because really it felt like they needed to rush it for money wise.
Yeah.
For you could tell they needed that money.
Yeah. And it bombed pretty bad too. We won't be getting a sequel of that.
Thank God.
Thankfully it did bomb. So yeah, that was a fucking waste of my time, and that's my number 7.
Okay. My number 7 is a film you just recently talked about was Men in Black International.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just mentioned earlier, 1 and 3 I love. And 2 was just more entertaining, not as great, but still overall you can enjoy all 3 of them together. This film just felt like it pandered to a new generation. I get what it was trying to do, building up to a new international. Everybody could be a Men in Black and stuff. But honestly, this was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like Chris Hemsworth and I did feel like Tessa Thompson, both of them who had chemistry, great chemistry in Ragnarok,
and Endgame,
didn't have no chemistry in this film. I felt both of them annoyed the piss out of me. Both of them were fucking full of themselves.
Uh-huh.
They pandered towards this new generation humor that fucking just irritated me. And I mean, like I said, full themselves. Like Chris Hemsworth, you get it. You're trying to be hot and for the ladies' man, but it's so Hollywood forced. Well, Tessa Thompson, we get, you're a pandering, you got to make the women into it. And I have no issue with that. It's just you make it so obvious that you forget that you're just got to make a movie.
It's something we didn't talk about in the writing aspect. These characters, the way they set them up, they're not interesting character interventions, because with Tessa Thompson's character, we get literally no fucking building of her actually wanting to be her any type of real good motive why she wants to join it. She's just thrown in there like, I knew the whole time.
She was 7 years old. Sees one of them blank her parents. Yeah. Because of a little creature got she befriended one of the little alien things.
Yeah.
And then, anyways, Tessa Thompson magically can find their lair. In 2 seconds becomes a Men in Black.
Yep.
And then she is placed with fucking Chris Hemsworth, who is the baddest of them all. Better than Will Smith and all of them. Let's forget they existed other than a picture. Let's call Chris Hemsworth a badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
We have no history of how he's a badass motherfucker. Convince me that he's better than Will Smith and fucking Tommy Lee Jones. Show me. Oh, you're just gonna tell me he's the baddest of them all?
Yeah, you don't.
Wow, lazy.
Yeah, and what separates is that if you would have made something more interesting with both of your characters, because look, I'm not trying to make comparisons because I know that the movies are basically trying to do their own thing, but even still, they're basically trying to go in that current mindset where they're deviating from other films.
Mm.
At least with Will Smith's character from the first Men in Black, the reason why he actually had build up was because he was unsure of himself, of him actually wanting to join. You know why? Because he was a police officer that actually got hypnotized by Tommy Lee Jones in the first one from the mind scrambler thing or mind eraser, and then Tommy Lee Jones had to convince him and then have him think it over.
Well, 1 and 3
build up for that.
1 and 3 gets that's the problem with films today. Films back in the day, like Independence Day, when they did the fucking shitty ass sequel.
Well, now a Will Smith sequel, but without him.
They know how to build stories back in the old days. This one, all about box office.
Throw them in there
for money.
Yeah.
And the name Men in Black makes them money.
Yeah.
That's what they look for. It's marketing tools.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we said earlier. You just throw Conjuring on personal Hyalurona. Oh, I'm going to bank off that. And that's all it is. And people are so fucking lazy. Going back to the fucking movie now. Like I said, the story is fucking lame. It's so just boring.
Just boring, just going through aliens for like the first time.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden decides to go into a fucking Mission Impossible.
The aliens,
story.
Mission Impossible.
Or 007.
The guy doesn't know what genre he's in. If he's in 007 or in fucking Mission Impossible. Makes more of that than a fucking Men in Black, like you said. The fucking humor between everybody is fucking awful. The aliens
little guy
are fucking trash looking. The CGI is fucking horrible. The goddamn villain is fucking just blah. Like fucking, I can make a better villain out of a stick man than that.
And after really like you pretty much know where the fucking movie is going with it.
And predictability is really fucking,
as fuck.
Yeah.
And also, now, if you wanted to make a better writing character for it, you could have maybe said her parents, like at the beginning, maybe would have had like a history of the Men in Black. Maybe they actually were agents. If you would have developed something better, I could have bought it more. Or at least do something, well, you lack writing for characters and also a compelling story, you fail as a film. You fail not only in that regard, but everything else around it. The CGI, the fact that you have a whole people that are seeing everything happen, they get hypnotized, and then the whole point was that they're supposed to keep themselves
they tried to use the quip humor that Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones themselves can portray, and they tried to reenact that in this one, and it comes off as fucking crazy.
Well, if I remember correctly, because it's been a while, didn't they also make it this one where they're going to make the world be more aware of shit when that was clearly the point in the other two movies, that they keep a secret? Yeah.
So this movie's basically saying, fuck you.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's my number 7, Men in Black International.
Fair enough. Now, my number 6 is a film that it was in his honorable mentions, and dishonorable mentions. This actually made me really like question why the fuck was this made? Rambo: Last Blood.
Yes.
This was
I wanted this in my fucking top 10 because honestly, I think I walked out more pissed off than you.
Yeah,
I almost wanted to punch. I almost wanted to punch the window out of the fucking car.
Yeah. This was a film that already when I heard that they were going to make, I was like, yeah, but 4 really. I mean, because I loved how the 4th one ended. I even love the first 2 movies. 3, but it's passable.
It's kind of entertaining.
Yeah, but 4 is what you consider to be a closure of a franchise the right way.
Yeah.
And I understand if you want to do something maybe. In theory, I could see what you wanted to do, even though it wouldn't be needed, but I could see what you would have probably done with the franchise had you would have took the fucking right approach, but they didn't do that this time. They instead make it to where Rambo is actually really not really much like of a character like he was in his other movies, because in this one, he stands out because
first of all, he doesn't have his hair. He doesn't have his bandana. He somehow had a Latino daughter, and he grew up with this one old woman, but that
really
makes
no
sense.
Continuity.
She's not brought up in any of his past stories. You basically, this is how I see it. 1 played that great score, the opening of 1. A man who is been at war most of his life comes home to his country spitting on him.
Yeah,
and then. Minus 2 and 3, 2's entertainment. He goes in there, it's a personal issue. I got to go, and after serving prison time for, my country fucking basically telling me fuck off, call me baby killer, gets out of prison, goes to 2, say it's a personal issue. You forgot POWs and left them in war. Fuck you. He went in there, saves them. Great movie. 3. Another personal good story, even though it's not as good.
His commanding officer,
who is like a father figure to him.
Yeah.
Saves him. 4 comes back years later. He's getting old. Doesn't want nothing to do with the United States. He just wants to be left in peace in Thailand. Fuck the world. Not to mention, it's one of the most brutal fucking movies I've ever fucking
absolutely.
seen. But the fact that after what he did and saved everybody, and 4 had to do it one last time, and then the girl tells him go home, and he accepts it, and he comes back, and that song plays again from what we heard in the first movie, and it shows him walking away from the screen. That's an ending.
Yes, that is.
The fact that We have him fighting sex slaves. What the fuck, Stallone?
Yeah.
Come on! Why did you end it with this piece of shit?
I mean, it's weird because if you would have done probably at least a better direction, maybe if you would have went with the more cartel storyline, like you probably thought you originally were going for, I probably would have bought that more. The whole sex slaves.
The cartel thing is also very saturated and used.
Well, true. No, but I'm saying if they wanted a more like grounded kind of Sicario feel, probably would have been at least more believable. I would have bought it more believable.
If 4 didn't have such that good of a closure, I could say that the war finds him again at home, but then again it's contradicting because the war in 1 found him at home.
Well, true, yeah.
So really, that really has been covered before.
Yeah.
So really,
I mean, you really can't do
need.
Nothing, but I'm just saying on a realistic level, I could see them doing the cartel thing because that would probably work.
Stallone, it might be working with your Rocky series, Creed.
No, this one.
But this you don't need to go to every franchise and read.
No, because the problem also with this movie is, first of all, most of like the first hour or so, the villains are fucking weak. You bring all those other 4 movies, they at least had compelling villains that were strong, and you actually felt their menace. These are guys that they beat the shit out of Stallone and early, and then the film, and then toward the end, these guys are so fucking unintimidating. They don't lack
and bumfuck archetypes.
Yeah,
and I guarantee the villains wouldn't last around here. They'd probably get their ass whooped in the street.
Exactly.
And we gotta fucking have Rambo fight them. God damn, that's like fucking Freddy walking into a classroom full of children. Ooh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Freddy wins.
Yeah.
Fatality in 10 seconds.
Yeah. And the fact that almost like other than maybe some brutal scenes, this movie was fucking empty where you have really nothing happening for a while, and only sprinkles here you get anything with Rambo, like the brief flash of PTSD or the intimidating scenes, which this is one of my other pros, is Stallone was still intimidating as Rambo. But still, other than that last 10 or so, 15 minutes, that movie was so fucking like empty and really had nothing with Rambo going for it. Yeah. And it was such a waste.
And then they come to his ranch home and they fight him. He has a booby trap. And it's nothing but I thought I might have one in me, and it just failed.
And it even did that because it shows that he's still like riding off on his horse at the end. I'm like,
and he's all hurt. I'm like,
the fuck?
That's the end?
Yeah. You mean to tell me you go for one of the worst villains?
How about we erase this fucking movie? Worst Thanos whenever you need him.
Snap
this movie out existing. Take the title and put it in 4 because really that's the last blood.
This only moves by a fucking inch better than Good Day or Die Hard. And that movie was a fucking insult to another franchise. Another number 5. When you movie is as bad as that, almost, you know your movie's fucked.
You know when you're getting 3 and 4, maybe stop.
Yeah.
I can name quite a few.
Yep. Yeah. So that was my number 7 or 6, Rambo.
My number 6 is probably easily one of the worst ever attempts at a gangster film I've ever seen. The Kitchen.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I dodged that bullet.
So this film stars Matthew McConaughey.
No.
Or not Matthew McConaughey.
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy. MM names getting switched. I'm sorry, but fucking Rambo. Stallone, see what you did to me? You got me stupid now. That fucking Rambo shit. Well, anyways, this has got Melissa McCarthy doing another serious role. And because she did one earlier that was kind of praised. And it stars her. The girl's going to be an Invisible Man.
Oh, Elizabeth Moss.
And that one girl.
Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish. And basically these 3 girls these 3 girls end up having to become taken over the streets of Hell's Kitchen after their husbands unsuccessfully get captured over a robbery, and they become trying to be part of the Irish mob, and basically they're trying to not become the Irish mob per se. They want to just do an all-women's mob. So this just screams disaster in the making, because now you got the whole like, instead of making a movie and let it flow to perfection, we're going to shove it to force it to say that women can run everything. that already is going to kill it. I'm sorry. I support women 110%. I love woman-led roles, but I can't stand forced
agendas.
So, anyways, these women become running Hell's Kitchen, and basically there's this person that don't like it, and they might go to war. That's basically the whole fucking story, really, because this movie spends no other than 90% of the time of these women walking on the sidewalk and talking. There is no build up to how badass they are. These women naturally are powerful. And all these big time mob bosses of Italians and all them, they're all like, oh, the women, they're coming. This movie is like Paul Fig made.
Funny, because she was in Ghostbusters.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, Melissa McCarthy, that's why your filmography is this big of shit and maybe that of good. But anyways, again, it's forced. Then none of these women are intimidating. They all don't have backstories. I mean, they semi do, but they don't really go into any of it. Like they say that
there's kind of
they're throwing in like the girl from that's going to be the Invisible Man. Her character, Elizabeth Moss, her character has probably the most deepest complex story, and probably the only thing that I can kind of say that was the only pro in the film. But Tiffany Haddish and Melissa McCarthy, oh my god, them both were fucking bad.
They ruined the movie.
They were so hollow. Unfortunately, you focus on them because Elizabeth Moss ends up fucking running into a dude midway through the movie, and she kind of does her own thing, and it has nothing to do with the women.
Huh. It's kind of, from the trailers, it seemed like, they were pretty much in on it like the whole fucking time, basically.
And then you get your scenes with Tiffany Haddish is getting over her head. Melissa McCarthy's got her head. And basically both are clashing. Both are trying to make deals with the other territories to take over and making deals. And that's the problem. There ain't no build-up and there ain't nothing intimidating about these fucking women. They're sitting there making deals and telling the Italian mob, Irish mob, Jew mob what they're going to fucking do. And guess what? They do it without any type of scare.
There's no, intimidation.
There's no intimidation. There's no, how do these girls become this badass? Let's just go. The next day, they go like this. We're badass. That's basically how fast. You talk about how quick Tiffany, what's her face turned into Men in Black?
Tessa Thompson.
Tessa Thompson became Men in Black. Well, this movie did it 10 times faster than becoming the baddest of Hell's Kitchen. This was violentless. There was no intense scenes. And nothing happens but them walking and scamming money out of businesses. And in the terms of protection, you've seen it in mob movies before. It's happened in real life. And these people give this money to these girls, and they hardly don't fucking know them. Like, who the fuck are you? No, I got to give it to the bosses, the ones that are real scary. The ones I've been paying for years, only for them to come in here in 2 seconds. They're like, okay, we'll start paying you. We trust you're gonna be badass more than Johnny Salami over here and fucking Al Capone. So yeah, this movie was just, and not to mention, this was boring. So fucking boring. When Randall said the trees walked all the time in Lord of the Rings, he needs to watch this fucking movie, because I'm sorry. I was so tired of seeing people walk. I started seeing the fucking sidewalk walk. Did they sit and fucking... I mean, goddamn, they had to have a lot of exercise in that movie. Because that's all they're fucking doing. And it's nothing but them making deals and going to dinner. It's literally nothing. How do you make a gangster movie that fucking horrible? I didn't see the one with John Travolta, Gotti, but I will say that I did hear it's laughably bad. So it has to be that, because this film is so bad that I wanted to shoot my fucking head. Put a gun in my head and in boredom. I played on my phone a lot. I almost had to take a fucking Excedrin. It was so bad. My head hurt so fucking bad. thank God I watched it for free, and I will admit I fucking strained the fuck out of this. Because why? Because piece of shit movies like this deserve it.
Exactly. And that's the same because I was actually looking forward to the movie, kind of looking for the movie because from the trailers it made it seem like it was going to be like on this like kind of Goodfellas is like
Trailers could be deceiving. Never 21 Streets.
21
Bridges, not
21
streets.
Bridges.
21
Psychics.
Bridges. Remember 21 Bridges we saw this year?
Yeah.
Trailers were deceiving.
I know it just seems
This
like
movie did it 100 times worse than that.
I know it's weird. You take a good trailer that looks interesting, and it's so shame to see something like that happen.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what? How about this? Get me Martin Scorsese and get me. I can get some other women. How about we get Gordon Weaver? Let's get fucking Linda Hamilton. Let's get. Name me some good women. Name me some Margot Robbie. You can get people like that and get Martin Scorsese. I want to see a woman. I do want to see it. I do. I want to see an all-woman gangster movie. I want Martin Scorsese to finally do that. Try that. I want to see an all-woman, and I guarantee it'll be very good. This looked like it was made by some fucking shithole bum living on a sidewalk selling fucking $5 scripts for a fucking goddamn blowjob or something, or for a fucking peace pipe. What the fuck was that? Don't ever do something like that again. Worst gangster film I ever saw. Number fucking 6, The Kitchen.
Yeah. Probably. I could imagine.
Before we start.
We're now
No. Yeah, we're together. We never had this happen, folks. In our best of, we had our 1 through 4. This one we actually have from 1 through 5. So all the rest of our categories are all going to be the same. So without further ado, number 5 is In the Tall Grass.
This based on
Another Stephen
King movie of the year that was released on Netflix and turned out to be the worst of the year of Stephen King movies.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you thought Pet Sematary was a disappointment. This was fucking worse. This was an insult.
Pet Sematary was very, very, very disappointing. This, however, was I hope this wasn't adapted that good. Because if it was Stephen King, what the fuck? What kind of book is
apparently, I think what I read too is that it's an adaptation of both his book. Well, it's both his son and his book. Both him and his son wrote.
Exactly. I forgot. This was a film that actually had, for the first time ever, King and his son came together and collabed on a book, and they wrote it. But the problem is this movie adaptation, we watched it on Netflix, one of the worst Stephen King films I've probably ever fucking seen.
Mm-hmm. I think this is the worst, since Cell, because I fucking hated Cell.
Yeah, I didn't see
that was my worst of 2016.
Yeah.
It was bad. But as far as Netflix films, this is definitely the worst, because I've seen some good Stephen King Netflix movies.
I would probably rank this and Serenity as 2 films that make no fucking sense.
And they both have cornfields.
Yeah.
Or fields in both of them.
But anyways, this is a book with Stephen King and his son, and it's about these people who pretty much go to this field, and they go to this kind of tall, grassy field. They hear voices of a kid screaming for help, and they go in there, and it becomes this full film of deja vu throughout the whole movie.
Where it kind of takes like a weird, time travel or time loop kind of thing. Kind of bad comparison, but kind of what Groundhog Day, and kind of Happy Death Day, what they do with the whole time loop thing.
The only thing is, unfortunately, and I will give credit to Happy Death Day, at least it was coherent to what it was trying to do on that.
Yeah, this one, it would make no fucking sense.
This one tries to do Groundhog Day, tries to repeat the scenes, but then it forgets about repeating its scenes.
Yeah.
And becomes suddenly...
You're lost. The editing is all over the place.
This is the worst editing film I've probably seen ever.
This is up there as far as worst editing. I don't know, because I've seen a lot of batshit fucking movies with pretty bad.
Yeah, Serenity was bad enough.
That was
this
bad.
One takes the cake.
Oh though. Yeah, definitely, man. This movie, it is so illogical because first of all, we get some really unexplained shit with the fucking weird boulder thing they come across, whatever it is, that weird rock they come across, and the acting. Other than maybe probably a couple people,
this is probably what makes you wonder what the fuck did Patrick Wilson think doing in this movie.
Yeah, well,
I could see what.
the funny thing is believe it or not, we don't see him for a very long time. We actually follow a brother and sister, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
And she was like pregnant by this
Boy-
piece of shit boyfriend that
yeah.
abused her. Anyways, they go out into this. They're the first victims. Then they run into Patrick Wilson and his wife. Well, he's looking for his wife and his kids.
yeah.
And then the next scene, it goes into repeat mode where it shows us the same scene again, but this time Patrick Wilson's with his wife.
Yeah, it's
And
giving me
then-
a fucking headache.
And then the movie stops and then does it again. And this movie's editing stops abruptly. You don't know. You have people dying. Then it starts over again. And only this time, this kid is evil.
Mm.
And then this other time, the brother has been evil all along. Like, I don't know. I actually promise I can't talk about this movie. I don't know what it was
Yeah,
about.
it was.
I seriously was that lost.
It's one of those where,
The Rock made no sense of worship. It was an Indian thing, more
Yeah.
than likely.
and it was trying to do what Children of the Corn did with the whole "he where I walk from Rose" or whatever
Yeah.
shit.
But it's unexplained because they do like this weird like ritual kind of thing. And talks to Rock. It's just
I don't want to come.
yeah. It's like
what the
it's okay,
fuck?
son. It's just skin. I'm like, oh my
Stephen
god.
King, are you sure you're not back on the?
Oh, it was kind of it was. I mean, it was kind of was it giving you flashbacks to the Children of the Corn remake on that fuck because they're both set in a field on bad.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
I said, Stephen King, are you sure you want ain't on the? Because that fucking only a fucking junkie would wrote that because that movie was fucking stupid. And what was up with that fucking? Then they go into Groundhog Day thing again, and now it becomes more of an incest story where the brother wants to fuck his sister.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
That is fucking not.
Then you have it where
It's disturbing, but on a bad level. It's ew.
yeah, and you,
Only a fucking nutcase would write something like that.
but also this film is like so stretched out. It is fucking like this movie really has nothing going for it. It's plotting. It's pandering to stuff that really makes no sense.
This movie is like, it's not really an edit full together movie. It's shit happens, Groundhog Day, switch it. It's like everybody gets to have a role of evilness, good, side character, dies. Like one girl dies. The sister actually dies,
Yeah.
and she's been dead. And then the next one, she was never dead. And they don't even warn you.
Yeah.
Like,
They're
she dies, and the next scene, she's walking around, and you're like, this is like, what the fuck?
This is the opposite of what you do with this concept. Because when you don't follow any continuity with how scenes are set up, that's bad filmmaking 101.
And not to mention that ending made no sense because, or it made. Well, I just remember it was in where the boyfriend sacrificed himself, and then he pretty much has it to where he's in that time loop, and then he ends up having the boy warn the others, and they end up leaving with the brother and sister leaving,
Yeah.
and it was
Like, it just abruptly just,
it just
it's
stops.
so boring, and it stops by the sacrifice. And then also, it also plays off kind of like it never happened.
Yeah, I was like, then what do we learn?
I'm kidding you not. If you have not seen this, this is probably the hardest movie to talk about because really,
It's all.
it's
over the
not
fucking
even a
place.
movie. It's basically
A collab of scenes
Collab of
struggled
scenes.
together.
Could you imagine? All right, it's like this. It's like some directors like to make their movies not in order, and then they'll have like maybe do scene 10,
Yeah.
scene 30. Tomorrow we're gonna do scene 99 because they're so good they can collab it all together eventually, and it will blend very well. Well, this director probably did that and didn't know what to do because he might have put scene 30 in probably scene 1, or 1 was, and then next 4 came after. Oh shit, that was supposed to be scene 2. Fuck, did we release that? God damn. I mean, either that or Stephen King and his son together wrote one of the worst books ever.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't read the book, but I've even heard from some fans that even because it does stretch itself out to be more than what it should be. Because this is one of those things where if you take an adaptation, sometimes some things are not worth adapting, and this seemed like a story that definitely didn't seem like it.
Yeah.
You know.
Everything should be adapted.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that was my number
That's
5. That's number 5. Now number 4 is another piece of shit that we actually avoided in theaters and actually caught up at recently and caught up at the last second. A film that was the only really yearly Halloween movie they had to release in October. Unfortunately, it was that fucking our number 4 is Countdown. And this is a film that already from the trailers, I just wasn't really looking.
Well, first of all, no one knew about it.
I didn't really know anything about it
until 3 weeks before the fucking movie came out. Oh, by the way, this is the Halloween film of the year, and it follows the same suit of the whole technological advanced killing that you got from Unfriended,
And
Friend
Ring.
Request.
The
Ring started it, but
Yeah.
we've done it good.
Well, and Final
then-
Destination with the whole
Yeah.
deaf killing people thing.
But you get a blend of that. But I'm talking about
the whole
tech,
technology thing.
technology noir.
We got a
killing.
killer app that tells you when you're going to die. Which, granted, that is actually it's an interesting concept. I would like to see.
The only problem is, well, this was Sticks, but still, Sticks, Blumhouse, they all fucking make the same mistakes. You get into these tech killing movies where technology kills us, mainly phones and computers lately, and basically they make it PG-13, and they go and get the most I would say they go get the most real world road rules. If you guys remember that show, those type of cast members, by the sense of looks, and they write the most PG-13 fucking story generic as possible. Only this time, this movie really hit the fan a fucking piece of shit.
Oh yeah, dude. Now I can understand if you took a concept of this because, I mean, I heard rumors supposedly this was supposed to be possibly a Final Destination movie, but that turned out to be not true. But I could have seen what they would have went with because if you would have told me this would have been maybe a Final Destination spin-off or something and kind of use the gore aspect to kind of do something unique ways with a better director, maybe I could give you something like that. But when you take something like this and you really waste your fucking execution in the most poorest ways, you fail your film on that level.
Yeah.
And this film has the tendency of having typical PG-13 fucking shitty fucking death scenes, weak jump scares like you fucking call every other scene, uninteresting, and plus, we'll get to it later, the most unnecessary subplot involving a fucking weird rapist type subplots that's involved.
Yeah, where you have the guy from fucking
Twilight.
The Twilights is the father, and basically subplot that has nothing to do with the movie. He has a fascination he's a doctor, and he has a fascination for touching women inappropriately and fondling and trying to rape them.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with the movie. When the movie's supposed to be about people downloading a fucking app, and the app is supposed to fucking kill you at fucking dot of zero. And then when they do die, first you start seeing them die off screen, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then you get this most generic looking fucking bye-bye man looking fucker coming in, and Krampus. Yeah, with the whole, he looked like Krampus, the whole fucking hunchback and shit, with bye-bye man's fucking head. And then, I call him Krampus. Yeah, Krampus or whatever. But anyways, you start to see who's the one, and they just suddenly just say, "Oh yeah, hey, should we show the fucking monster by now? Since the other 3 were invisible death scenes, let's just randomly fucking have him in the movie now." He just abruptly comes in the movie. You finally see who's doing the killing halfway through the movie, and he looks like the most generic, lame 2-year-old drawn fucking monster ever. So generic looking, it's just so what?
Yeah.
It's as plain as fucking water. Tasteless.
Yeah, it was what the hell was that? And I've seen, dude. Well, even it's a shitty movie, but at least the Slender Man looked creepy, and also Bio Man, you could have looked kind of cool, but he failed in that regard.
Let's go into the acting. The acting is so bad. Our main cast is so bad.
The main girl, with the exception, but
the main girl
and her sister.
And her sister. Well, the sister showed more emotion.
Well, yeah.
So, but anybody else, aside from the main girl and her sister, which still they had the main sister had bad lines.
True, yeah.
Every now and then, especially when she was introduced to another main character that I've never seen this done in a while. A main character coming in the middle of a movie.
Yeah, at the very last second, and he's in the background.
He's supposed to be a stand around, like if a movie is made in your town, they'll give you $5 to come and play the crowd.
Yeah.
Only this time, one of our main casts is one of those, and it's so poorly done. It looks like if they paid me $5 and the director told me to just sit there and shut up, and I didn't want to, and I fucking started coming in and making my own lines. That's basically what this dude does.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they got this forced love attraction. Let's fuck for the sake of we got to shove that down your fucking throat, if you know what I mean.
Well, that, and also you bring in other totally fucking out of this ordinary characters that have this really out of place comedy that has no bearance on the fucking
in the
plot.
hospital. I'm sorry, but if I found out that my mom or dad or somebody was in the fucking hospital sick, and I was walking out there and hearing the doctors and stuff, so did you fuck Brad? Do they have to do these in these movies all the time? Where there's these forced sleeping with each other, dick jokes, tame because it's PG-13, and just random did you have do stuff with this person?
Yeah,
it always seems like that's brought up in all these PG-13 movies.
And not to mention the two annoying ass fucking characters I had a bitch about are first of all you had the one dude that said the storage, the phone shop.
Oh, the phone shop.
The repair guy.
Get this. It's supposed to be a horror film, right? And they have this guy as the comedy relief. Cringy comedy at that. And he's a smart ass. And he's had a punchable fucking face. But anyways, he's hacking, maybe changing the phones, because, if the phones go to 0, they die.
Yeah.
The creature comes, kills them. And they found out there's a code encrypting it. And it's of a legend of a monster that got his curse got encrypted where he could do that and kill people. And he hacks it, and he's able to try to change everybody's years to when they're old, 90 years old, whatever, 80. And then he starts talking about, do you think the Avengers will last 40 more years? And to determine how long he wants to stay alive. Or the Marvel
Cinematic Universe.
I was like, where did that fucking come from? Lines like this pop throughout the movie.
Well, then
it's almost like, how do we make a coherent story? Dialogue.
Somebody wrote a fucking napkin.
I know we're making a movie of Jason, and a guy that's like Jason. Can you maybe say, wow, Batman vs. Superman sucks?
Yeah.
What would that have to do with my movie? Because I don't know how to write dialogue.
Yeah.
And that's how fucking bad the dialogue in this piece of shit.
Not just that, but also the other fucking shitty fucking comic relief was the dude who played the priest. That guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very, very fucking stupid. And I remember that dude.
He's from Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. But, him. But the first priest that didn't know what was going on, like the Mexican guy.
Yeah.
He was off that George Lopez show.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And he was short-lived.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm unorthodox because he does dirty shit. So he's like, whatever. So anyways, they get the guy from Wolf of Wall Street in the glasses, the kind of thick guy from that movie.
Yeah.
And
Regret.
Yeah, Regret. And basically they have him play this fucking supposed to be into spirits. And first of all, there's no way he could be a certified priest because this dude is like all fucking got so many. I mean, I'm not into religion, so I'm a guy that loves tattoos, but I'm just saying, aren't they? He's tatted out in shit that was against God or some shit. It made no fucking sense. It's just gruesome shit, detail, stupid shit he had written over him. The dude's goddamn, fuck, goddamn, oh sorry Jesus, goddamn it. I mean, the guy is just so cringeworthy.
It's like hiring what for example, it's like if you hired someone who was the opposite of what that is, hiring someone for playing a well, I'm not just gonna go in political, but you get what I mean. You're trying to represent something, but it's
I don't know, bad metaphor, but
No.
you get like
The
a
movie markets itself as a horror, and they thought it was a smart idea to try to be like Happy Death Day in the middle of the movie.
yeah.
And really, that's not what your movie did not market itself.
It tries to be clever, like it thinks it's clever like that. But guess
And
what?
honestly, I hated Happy Death Day to You, but I think I've watched that more than this movie.
Yeah, because this movie, it also fucking cheats out because also the death scenes are not only fucking lame, but also there's this whole thing involving where all the climax too was stupid. It was like, well, first of all, when they shoehorn in that fucking plot, that subplot with the rape thing, it has no bearing. It was just thrown in the last second.
And
this character really has no comeuppance of it.
all right, so you think he's gonna have like something where the whole sacrifice, killing, it'll
Yeah,
change everything?
because the whole point is that if you sacrifice someone or if you sacrifice, you basically stops it.
Stone from Final Destination.
Yeah.
So this guy is sitting there trying to beat the fuck out of her and kill her, and we get this most cringeworthy drag scene I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
Like he literally gets dragged. It looks very poor, and this guy's not questioning what the fuck that was. Instead, he does kind of mention it, but he's like, "Fuck it, I want to hurt you." I would be like, "What the fuck pulled me?"
Yeah.
Well, I'd be scared. I'd be like, "Fuck this, I'm out of here." That was scary, but no. It just doesn't end like that. And then it ends in the most Lifetime Network ending. And in fact, it's shot like a fucking Lifetime made movie.
Yeah.
At the end, where, the father's like, got my girls back in. Yeah, he's going to prison. Where the fuck were you, man? What's the point? You're in the movie, other than you're just some standby daddy.
Well, and also that really lacks any type of message that the movie was trying to go for with that. Because if you would have had the fucking demon kill the fucker, the fucking dude, it probably would have made sense in that regard. But the fact that you just sit up and was like, okay, that whole subplot was pointless. It was basically it was like doing like a Jason film, and then you do like a court movie next door, and then you you slice it in there. Like, what does this have to do with anything? You know?
Yeah, we can keep going on, but it was so generic. There's no need to.
And it sets it up for a sequel, which is coming out too, which is supposed to be.
Was coming.
Yeah, I saw that fucking happening, especially with the fact that where it's like, oh no, it's coming back.
Yeah, and it spells out countdown, and the movie's over. So yeah, that was our number 4. Number 3. This movie is probably all right. It's not. It's my number 3. But as far as massive, major box office, iconic franchise of the year, this was the worst of that of all the movies, because the other two are just generic movies. This is the worst of the big box office films I've ever seen.
No, it's not Star Wars. No doubt, it's not Star Wars.
This movie was the biggest fuck you to me, and I just want to tell this director, fuck you right back. This movie is our number 3, Terminator Dark Shit. The 5th. Oh, look! Or 6. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's 6. Oh, sorry, I forgot Genesis. I was supposed to remember that movie.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the 3rd movie since we're in a really weird continuity now.
And what I thought Genesis was going to be the worst. You could have gotten worse than that movie, and then I was proven fucking wrong. Tim Miller drops the ball big fucking time in this movie. I knew this film was doomed. Why? Because Genesis
killed the franchise.
Really already killed the franchise.
You just beat the dead
But
horse.
then they said Linda Hamilton. Okay, cool.
Okay, you got Jason back and someone.
And the like of Edward Furlong. Okay.
You got Arnold back. So you're trying to follow the first dude.
At first, that was the news. But then, before the movie comes out, Tim Miller goes on this political rant.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was like, this movie is doomed. Then I seen the trailer. Because he goes on this political thing about lesbian.
Well, he says that the girl, the main Terminator girl, she's going to basically make if I recall correctly, he said he's going to make misogynists like afraid because of how people are men who don't like.
Why are the people making movies that already had women strong characters, like the number 1 film of the year we'll get to? Tim Miller, Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton was
already a strong
badass
character.
She's a strong character and she's awesome. She's
Yeah.
fucking quick, like badass. She's up there with fucking Ripley.
Yeah,
I
Ripley
fucking
and her.
love Linda Hamilton.
Yeah.
To fucking go in your rant, we need a woman lead. Why are these directors not paying attention to other fucking movies?
Did you see fucking Ghostbusters 2016?
No, I'm talking about in the sense.
That mindset.
I'm talking in the sense of fucking movies that already had nothing but women cast always, and they were always good.
Yeah.
And saying, we need to make a movie. We need to make that movie all women cast like they didn't watch the other fucking movies. Sarah Connor is pretty much the fucking head honcho.
Yeah, besides Arnold, she's very much like the ultimate badass, and especially now in one, even still in one, she became the badass at the end of it.
Yeah, I love Linda Hamilton. So, anyways, they don't get Linda Hamilton, and this one is about takes place in Mexico because Rambo did it too, and all of them they all seem to fail. So we leave the United States and we introduce yet again another fucking cybernet, and this one is called I forgot.
It's called not Genesis. It's called something else.
They changed Genesis.
Legacy.
Legacy, and basically Skynet doesn't Legion.
That's what it's called.
Skynet doesn't exist. They finally got rid of Genesis only to give us Legion, which is even fucking further worse.
Yeah,
manages to be further worse. We follow a knockoff version. Well, the actor wasn't too bad, but he still isn't
he's no Robert Patrick. But
we basically he had potential, but we take a liquid guy mixed with a T-800 similar,
and a little bit of cyber, and a little bit of TX as far as the
especially he's
like a hybrid.
He was so lazy enough. He goes, "How about I take every villain and put them in one villain?" Ooh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Writing, that was smart thinking. I think I could think of that. Oh, where's my millions? But anyways,
but this movie is already fucking doomed because, look, what's really sad, and we'll get to this here. Back in the summer of 2019 at Comic-Con, they announced that Edward Furlong was going to be there. He announced that he had a part in, he was actually in Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah.
Now, news broke out and fans got excited, like, oh, well, because he actually showed up at I believe it was Comic-Con or some con that was there in the summer. And news broke out that, okay, maybe that's why they hid him from the trailers and stuff, because in the trailers, you're led to believe maybe, because that's one thing I got interested from the trailers, like, okay, maybe they're doing something John Connor we don't know about. Maybe he's going to hide, like Luke did in Force Awakens. Maybe. All the fucking primacy hype and any potential they had to use Edward Furlong, and he admits it was kind of a bummer that Tim Miller decision, and it was actually, I think it was partially James Cameron's decision. No, and he had a different sort of idea, but Tim Miller was like,
no, James Cameron is on this new, he is joining the whole stupid train of, I must agree to all these political motivation groups to make my movies like they want. So he plays like, because you got to think, this motherfucker said Genesis was the best movie in this franchise. And so this dumbass agrees to killing John Connor in 5 fucking minutes. And the most fucking, I'm sorry, what the, Edward Furlong did very well in the aging on him and Lando.
Yeah, they looked great.
Well, what the fuck was up with Rico Suave Arnold Schwarzenegger? Huh? That motherfucker was so goddamn tan.
He looked like the fucking Skull from Scarface, the one that pops up at the end and kills Tony Montana. I'm like, Tim Miller, did you?
Yeah, he looked just like that dude.
Did you get mixed up with the Terminator from Scarface the year before Terminator came out? He looked like that dude.
This motherfucker is so dark. Holy shit! I'm not saying this has nothing to do with race. It's the fact that this was supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, but they had to get something they had trouble with. I don't know what they had trouble with. I don't know how they could have trouble with. But if I'm going to fucking play a stuntman or be the young version of something, And let's just say, would you buy me as being a young Will Smith in Independence Day or Bad Boys? No, you wouldn't. So why the fuck is Rico Suave looking motherfucker who looked like he had a year-long tan at the Bahamas playing fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger? That's legitly, that's what they build it on, because Linda Hamilton finds him in the movie, and it's literally the same guy, but this time that Arnold's playing old, because in Genesis,
they established that
yeah,
the
they can grow, they can get old.
Can visibly
Age.
and render.
Exactly. But anyways, we follow Mackenzie Davis, who, by the way, I'm not liking anything she's doing. She's terrible in this.
I think her performance was good or decent, but yes, her character was fluid. Now, I did like her in Blade Runner 2049, but in this one, I think the material that she was given just wasn't handled properly, because her performance, she at least shows she is given what she's given.
Which she, by the way, I heard she pulled another version of this.
Turning, yeah. I haven't seen that.
Anyways,
yeah.
She character was fucking a forced strong woman character. Forced. That's a problem.
She's playing.
It's shoved so hard that they're insulting Linda Hamilton in this movie. And they make her a side fucking bitch. And Linda Hamilton's an all-time badass.
Yeah.
To be manhandled, I mean, I'm almost thinking, is Tim Miller secretly calling Linda Hamilton a dude? Because what the fuck is she? She's no other than the most badass woman on the planet, other than fucking Ripley.
Yeah. I mean, with Sarah Connor in this, it had potential.
Yeah.
I can see what you wanted to go with, because the movie probably should have done. You could have built up to had a prequel, maybe like her actually hunting down Terminators and stuff.
Mm.
On paper, I could see them probably doing that with older Linda Hamilton, or like we discussed in our review, you could have had Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger come back, and they're basically doing like a old man, Terminator, old man Logan type movie, where you have Terminator raises a family and stuff, and there's Terminators after him.
Basically, it's the same fucking story. Other than this, they kill John Connor off. This is the most insulting thing. They kill him off, and then they use this little Mexican girl as the new John Connor. This girl was bad.
She horrible.
Horrible actress.
And there's nothing to her character that stands out. You took everything that was from the first
and Tim Miller said he did that because anybody can be a John Connor.
Okay.
Why are we doing this? Anybody can be a wall, a fucking cat, a dog. Yeah.
Oh, shocker.
Yeah, anybody can be a shocker. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, from fucking one of my problems is Spider-Man: Homecoming. I'm sorry. Just make another fucking movie that.
No.
It's insulting to kill something that was iconic as a fuck you, because it really was one big fuck you.
You remember
to bring somebody so terrible at acting. I mean, was this all necessary to add Mackenzie Davis or the girl? Could we just have Linda Hamilton become a badass as an exterminator for Terminators and finally getting rid of them?
Yeah, that would have been more interesting.
Hey, we got a strong woman character right there.
Yeah, and also what's insulting is the fact that it's two things. One, everything that we saw in Terminator 2 when John Connor was being protected and he was so important to the story. First 4 minutes, we'll kill him off. Oh, yeah, because that works so fucking well with Alien 3, doing the same bullshit.
Bullshit with fucking Newt and all them.
Hicks.
Not only that, Genesis tried that with changing 1 and 2, but I'll at least give that piece of shit credit, because they actually we actually get to go back to old times and see those movies recreated in different ways.
It's still
this one basically says, okay, we're not going to do all that. We're just going to tell you by word, fuck you. Yeah. It's all gone. It never existed.
Granted, even though I hated the fucking Genesis to a T, and I will admit that turning John Connor into a bad guy was a mistake,
But
Yeah.
I can still see what they were. That if you had a better
On paper,
on better writing, you could have fixed it to see what would lead to him as a villain.
Yeah.
This had no fucking reason to do that.
Yeah.
Kill him off because
The
the girl
villain-
that comes in, her is so uninteresting. She really
She's
doesn't
a
do
random
anything.
girl that has no connections.
Yeah.
They just randomly tell her you're the future.
All
She's
because-
she's not a wife of John Connor. She's not a kid or kin of him. She's not a kin of Sarah Connor that might have maybe had another kid.
Mm-mm.
She's nothing. She's just some. I went and down the street and found a bum on the side of the road. I know I like to talk about bums, or I go down and knock on one of these people's houses, grab their daughter, say, "You're come with me if you want to live. I heard you're the leader." They randomly just pick somebody. There's no history.
And even then, even when they do try to do that, like we see in the flashback with Mackenzie Davis' character in Skynet
Yeah.
or in the future or whatever, even still, it doesn't have any fucking really mean anything because all she does, she saves Mackenzie Davis from harm. That's it.
It's the same story, retold, but in a fucking great value version. It is basically the kid,
Mm-hmm.
Linda Hamilton, Terminator woman, but since Arnold's too old and too wore out, they get a girl to play him.
Yeah, and
And
all the action in this movie still is
It's
like
horrible.
it's fucking.
then you get the guy who I thought he didn't look bad, but he still was a knockoff version of fucking Robert Patrick.
Well, I think that
He
his
was the
performance
only-
was actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
I just wish that he had more potential because there is still ideas that they use this Terminator that I would love to see, like with the fucking second Terminator driving and stuff. Like he can split into two.
Things like different things.
Yeah, there is ideas there that you could really pay off, actually work with it. Unfortunately, and then the guys it seemed like he had potential of his intimidation. It's just that the writing, the direction around him really fucked his character up.
And you know what's sad about Genesis in this movie and the fact that they keep getting worse and worse is the fact that they're making part 3 seem so much like Terminator 2.
I know.
That's how bad 5 and 6 are.
I know.
And I'll tell you right now, the ending scene was typical. It's the same ending again.
Where Arnold sacrificed himself again, which actually, really, if you look at it, and this time, they don't even spend time on that even because Sarah Connor goes up to him wanting to fucking kill his ass when she knows that she killed her son. They have like a brief conversation and then that's it. Like there's no fucking level of.
When I see Arnold kill this guy, I see deja vu. I had deja vu when he had to kill the John Connor fucking villain from the
For 5. In fact, it was a similar location too.
Same location.
Similar.
Identical.
Yeah. And even still, like, really, Arnold really didn't really have much of a. I mean, I get what they were doing, but even still, you could have took him out of it and really
did
not
they
really
introduce
changed
that
much.
Arnold fucked somebody and had kids?
No, he took care of this
Oh,
girl.
yeah.
He was like a guardian for this woman and her kids.
That's right.
And then he has this. Well, he has that weird joke about him being like a Draper guy. He's like,
Oh yeah, it's got they have Arnold worrying about because he talks about being working as putting up drapes.
yeah,
Oh my god, this movie couldn't have gotten worse. But yeah, we're getting real deep into our talk.
yeah. But
And
this
for
movie
movies,
is
but
just.
This was the biggest fucking insult, big box office wise. This was a piece of shit. I hope this just killed everybody. Killed it all.
Yeah.
And killed the franchise.
The movie
It
wants
ended with
so
2.
much too.
And 4 has potential to grow in something. They won't do it. So let's just go.
Let's end it at 2.
Yeah, let's just end it at 2.
Yeah.
So that being done, so here we go to our number 2 worst.
Of the movie. A movie that I fucking lost brain cells after watching this piece of shit.
This is a movie. Okay, we talked about Keanu Reeves earlier, right?
Yeah.
And I said we would get to this point that we need to bring it up. This is when an actor goes and does something that iconic, like he's doing,
Yeah.
and then he goes and chooses a piece of shit movie to do too.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is a film that was also in development for like a couple years or so. And he also, I heard he did it possibly as a favor for somebody. And he was like, all right, I'll do it. And then he goes into this movie, and that's Replicas, a film that got pushed back. Came out of fucking nowhere. That actually just came out of nowhere. Like, nobody was expecting to come out.
Yeah.
Comes out, and yeah, there's a good reason, because this movie was not only a piece of shit, but also was one of the worst type of openings for a box office, too.
This movie was
all right, first of all, it's supposed to be a 2018 movie. It got pushed so many fucking times.
Yeah.
Ended up, unfortunately, being 2019.
19. Beginning of January. That's a bad start with a dump month.
And we're talking about visually, writing, and acting is so atrocious that it looks like a Sharknado movie.
And even that's a stretch because this movie.
Because the movie starts feeling very Lifetime, like a TV series.
It opens with a fucking really poorly, like $5 looking helicopter going in the sky.
Yeah, with a green screen. It almost looked like a fucking like goddamn Mr. Rogers, like a fucking playhouse. And I remember that. It looked so fucking bad. The CGI is unfucking forgivable in this.
It only gets funnier because of the end, where it turns into this weird, like, kind of RoboCop 2-esque, where it looks like it's like one of the weird robots from RoboCop 2 looking things, but done really shitty CGI.
Remember when I talked about Serenity earlier, and I said that Matthew McConaughey's lines and everything came out of his mouth, his overtopped acting was hilariously bad, but the movie was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Keanu Reeves' lines and his acting is so fucking bad. Maybe Brimstone's Dracula might be a way better performance. That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Because his acting in this film is probably the worst acting he's ever done in his career.
I've seen some bad performances from Keanu Reeves, mainly from Dracula.
Yeah.
But even that one, I just kind of look at it like he just wasn't really the right cast to begin with for it. Because the movie itself is still great. But other movies like I've heard that are bad, like some of those direct-to-video ones he's done and things like that. And I even heard that...
I just don't understand the tone of his voice in this movie. Like, when he's talking about, like... Because the movie's about him working for a scientific company. He's stationed in, like, Puerto Rico or somewhere.
Yeah.
And his family tragically dies, and he wants to bring them back as replicas. Because at his company, they make replica stuff. They just weren't never done on humans.
Yeah.
So he takes the equipment home, and he starts building them, and things go haywire. Good concept. The only thing is this movie's acting is so fucking bad by Keanu Reeves. You see how he acts sometimes, and
he has that very stoic kind of performance in his movies.
Why should we make him?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Like, I know that he can be a serious actor when he wants to, but this is not the kind of performance you should go with.
And this was done, like I said, Hayes was on a funny level. This was not funny. This was cringy.
It was, and also one of the worst fake cries I've seen in a movie.
Yeah, like
where it reminds you of that video that you showed me of the crying.
Oh yeah, that rapper guy in Intervention.
Yeah,
no, that used to be a boxer, not rapper.
Yeah,
he just goes, and that's what he does. Yeah. Oh my god, I forgot about that scene. But anyways, now this movie's so boring. Literally, there's an hour. They do nothing but him just developing them.
Yeah, just making them, and then there's also
by the time that they actually pop out and become replicas, I think it was the equivalency of my girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, my kid's mother, giving birth. Like literally, did I have to watch the goddamn process really? And then see him and other people talk.
Also, there's shit in this movie that it breaks its own fucking rules. Like the fact that his friend in the movie tells him that he can't fucking get a replica of one of them because there's no pods. Yeah. Well, guess what? He still does the very end of it, so that made no fucking sense.
He developed pods.
Yeah, and all the fact that apparently he's able to sneak into a fucking place that has security, and he was able to get in there. Oh, so it must be out on Sunday, probably.
Yeah, ironically.
Or something. I was like, oh, so you tell me there's no fucking security footage that would catch you there? Really?
And this movie is basically one big long birth.
And essentially...
I'm watching first, second, third...
It's not even interesting, because if you would have done with the whole...
Well, listen. It's like one big birth. We're watching first, second, third trimester. And because you're literally watching them develop, and him staring and wondering if they can do good, and then they finally come, and then they're kind of fucked up, and then he had to do something with them,
Yeah.
and then redevelop them.
And then there's
stuff.
that subplot with the villain that you know is gonna fucking come.
Oh, hi, I'm the villain. Oh, hey, it's a villain right there. And he's horrible.
And also, they don't even like. He's not intimidating. He's a really not good performance either.
Pussy.
And also, the whole concept of the replicas with this, you could have done something more interesting, like do what Blade Runner did, where they're kind of like going haywire. Or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought the movie was going to be.
Maybe,
But
no.
don't do that.
And they do the most horrendous example of a CGI robots, where the fucking robots. Keanu Reeves has a duplicate of himself, replica of himself, and it's a prototype, and it's the most like really jewelry looking CGI.
Yeah, because this movie is literally shot on Lifetime cam. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And I was blown away from the difference from the trailers, make it look like a straight edge movie, and seeing like I'm watching something that was made by a guy who had to do something for college.
Yeah. And you have that.
And then said,
level.
Keanu, would you play in that movie?
Yeah.
And some other famous actors. And then, so anyways, the story goes is like he develops his kids. They start to do that whole, whether they are going to go that direction we were hoping for, but in minutes it completely turns. And then now they're not replicas anymore. They're almost like they never died because they don't realize they're human and they're running from this villain.
Yeah, and then the fact that you have like this, and it's been a while since I've seen it, but the fact that in the beginning there's one that pretty much goes haywire at the beginning, it's not even finished, but yet he's able to perfectly find these other replicas of his deceased family,
And
they're able to come out no problem. Like, there is so much inconsistency here.
then the ending could have not been any more anticlimactic. Driving away.
Yeah,
That's a fucking ending.
yeah, and then
Drive away.
and then the fact that you have Keanu Reeves in like his replica self, and, like make his business. He's wearing a suit. I'm like, what the fuck?
But his replica fucking fight his wars for him because he's so much of a bitch in this movie. While he has time to fucking just drive away. And that's really our fucking ending. I'm like, by the time I was like, alright, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm like, it's like I felt like I was more.
What a way to start the year because I believe this was our first movie we
It
saw
was
here.
of the year.
And to start off,
We
on
left-
a high note.
We left the movie felt like Harry and Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber.
I felt like I was fucking retarded when I watched that movie, man. It was one of Keanu Reeves, if not his worst movie he's ever done.
Yeah.
By far. It was so uncalled for to be
It was
like
only
that.
a nut hair compared to, and that was our number 2. But guess what? That was only a nut hair compared of the most infuriating.
No, it wasn't even a nut.
It was not even that. It was
This next movie is our number 1 worst film of 2019. And this film actually is on a league of its own. In fact, this movie, you got replicas, stroke, cancer, diarrhea, fuck me, kill me, maybe do this, bend me over somewhere and fucking, I don't know. I'm just losing it right at this point. And then you got this movie. I say it like that because not only is this the worst movie of the year, this could potentially be the worst movie of the decade.
Yeah,
Possibly the worst remake ever made, and possibly easily top 5 worst films ever made in history of films.
Slasher films.
Yeah, and I'm talking about worst, could be potentially top 5 worst films ever made in history of films. This
one film of 2019 is Black Christmas 2019 remake. Or as I call Black Christmas in name only remake.
Yeah.
Just like
another slap of the name on the cover because of the sake of.
You know what's a movie like this a better comparison to?
Yeah.
Remember the remake of Day of the Dead 2008?
Mm-hmm.
same fucking level. You take a classic film, put the name on it, have like small little elements.
At least that one got Rhodes' name right.
Yeah.
This one didn't even have Billy or fucking Agnes.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah.
this
Where
is
the
the
fuck do we begin?
unnecessarily fucking remake to a franchise
Or movie
or
original
slasher and then a remake of 2006.
Yeah.
Needing to be remade again, even though you could take the classic great, not great, but still great.
Really good.
Yeah. Ambiguous mystery, unsettling, atmospheric 70s version. Then you have the remake
which is very, in so many ways, fucking disturbing and on a good level. Like, it had me, like, sit chills up my spine. Not to mention, probably one of the most pro-Christmassy type films I have seen since Krampus.
It's definitely up there with Krampus, and because I enjoy
Because every death even is so oversaturated in a good way with Christmas. I'm sorry, the fucking remake of 2006, I admit it, is fucking good. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's
underrated.
I love the original. I love it as its own slasher film, but also I enjoy it as that whole mystery thing with not really knowing much about the killer. It had a lot going for it that you could buy on like a more realism level. Mm-hmm. But the 2006 version, like he said, I enjoy it because it was able to do things differently while still paying respect to the original and kind of add new things. But and granted, it's debatable whether that's good or not. But it still was able to keep the vibe of the original going and keep it very Christmassy and gruesome fucking deaths like more so.
This shit was on Saw level.
Yeah,
gruesome and eating eyeballs, showing backstories about fucking incest and fucking your mother, your mother raping you. Which develops Billy and Agnes. And Agnes looks fucking creepy. Billy looks fucking. I'll tell you right now, Billy and Agnes, the way they look and their jaundice look yellow, they scare. I will tell you right now, they are creepy look. They are. They live in the walls. They're fucked in the head. They kill people, building cookies, Christmas cookies out of them. Everything, including the deaths, is Christmas. Everything is Christmas promoted. I love it. It is gruesome. It is unsettling. It's disturbing. Fucking great. Like you said, the classic, great ambiguous mystery.
So both of them have their own unique personas that I enjoy equally. Now I know what people don't like the 2006 version, but I still hold it as one of the better remakes that I find very underrated, and it's definitely in its own way I can watch with the original. Yeah. Now this one that came out in 2019, I was glad I didn't see it in fucking theaters because this is a film that I didn't even know why they were planning a remake because it came out the last fucking refund. It came out the last moment as far as announced because we didn't know anything about this until a poster of it came up.
August, September.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
They were like, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna make a Black Christmas."
But why? And then when I heard news that they were developing, started seeing the trailers of it. Well, what's fucked up? When I first started seeing the trailers, they shot themselves in the fucking foot because in the trailers, it's revealed already who the fucking killers are. They even spoiled their own fucking premise in the trailers.
Where do I fucking begin with this ungodly worst piece of shit I ever fucking seen? This, oh my god. First, let's talk about the director. The director, who's, I'm not trying to get in political, so I'm just going by the truth. She's a big Me Too movement supporter. In fact, she's involved with Me Too.
I think so.
Yeah. Actually, I think I read she pretty much is.
Okay.
She's a Me Too person who wanted to make a movie, and she wanted to send a message.
And she wanted to make a feminist movie.
A feminist movie of strong women. So this girl has the nerve to get on fucking news and, journalists reporting and writing down what she's saying, and she's basically saying, "I'm going to finish a strong movie, so I'm going to make this one movie. But I wanted to make a classic movie and then make it an all-woman cast and then make it a pro-feminist movie, and I want to sell it that way."
Well, what I read too was that the feminist approach. She's basically wanted to take the original film's way of making it more of a feminist movement because the way that I think I read it correctly was that she seen the original film and wanted to go with that whole feminist appeal. Because not to backtrack.
Well, what I was hearing is the fact that she made these movies, and or when she was making the movie, she made it the way she did, and then she goes, "Okay, now my movie is going to be called Black Christmas. I want to use that. I want to choose Black Christmas." Did you not watch the other ones? Because these are pro-women movies.
Well,
The 78 movie,
74.
74, is all women cast, and they're strong and they're good.
Also,
I personally think 2006 wasn't too bad.
well, and also
women
we forgot
cast.
to mention on this, the 1974 one dealt with stuff that was actually pretty serious in that film. Now, if you remember, that movie dealt with our main character who, Olivia, what's her name? The girl from Psycho 4 and It.
Yeah.
She actually, her character she wanted an abortion. So that movie was actually tackling serious topics that nowadays would be a little tame compared to some of the other stuff. But at the time, it was pretty serious shit.
Yeah.
So they got away with stuff back then,
Yeah.
you know.
The fact that this woman had the nerve, this director had the nerve to go out there and say that there's never been a all-woman strong cast, and she's making obviously a fucking remake of a movie. We already had that twice.
Yeah.
And then to say that is, did you not watch the other movies? Don't make fucking remakes of movies you haven't watched, and then you get to the last second and finally watch it. So, anyways, I've never seen a remake that strayed so far away from a film that literally the title is the only, like, the whole movie, the title does not even match.
No.
Like, seriously.
There's like,
This doesn't even pay homage. This literally just leaves.
the only I did read into it further that other than the scene with the where she approaches the officer and the
Wow,
scene
because that's such a
from
homage.
the original
Homage.
the officer doesn't believe him.
Out of all that, that's all I can come
and
up
then they
with.
have the death scene that they show up with the attic, and then there's like the bag scene. That's really it. Those three things are so fucking small. You could really take those out and not really change much.
First of all, they get rid of Billy and Agnes.
Yeah, they're not in this.
So, how about we just get rid of Freddy out of Nightmare on Elm Street? Maybe Candyman shouldn't be in Candyman.
Yeah. Well, it's,
Have the movie called Candyman and have fucking Barney in it. Jurassic Park, actually, Barney had better closures with Jurassic Park. Let's do that. Let's get rid of the T-Rex in that movie, or the what can I say? Indiana Jones. Let's get rid of him too, and just put a fucking teddy bear.
Yeah, it's when you're straying away so far.
Yeah,
I understand you don't want a carbon copy of fucking original, but when you stray too far, that's when you know why the fuck remake it in the first place.
This
Really?
is how far I've never seen a remake stray this far off. I seriously have never. This is how far it strays away. The villains are fraternity guys who worship a statue of a woman-hating dickhead who bleeds black, and they all wear tiki torch faces, masks. They look kind of Club
Or
Dread.
Hot Fuzz.
Borrow the suit from Ghostface from Scream.
Yep.
And they basically pull a sorority, will try to be sorority role-ish type feel, and they do that shit that sorority shit. What was that movie you were talking about? It kind of remind you of
Sorority Row.
Yeah,
I
sorority
didn't
row,
see that one.
where
but
they wear
it's
the
similar.
little things.
Yeah. Or
And
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz, the Hot Fuzz, the cold things, and we get the strong women cast that has to play like they're a fucking $2 knockoff of the upcoming Birds of Prey, since, you know, nothing screams Christmas like a black fucking poster with purple and pink fucking Black Christmas
With candy
canes, but Black Christmas with purple and pink spray paint saying the name of the title movie.
Not to mention, this film is, like we were discussing in our review, it is a fucking boring as shit first hour of nothing happening. Like, this movie it doesn't even feel kind of like it would be a slasher film, because
the
the
girl
first
is
kill at the beginning.
Well, you get the girl that died the most gayest death ever. And you saw the killer like you saw a goddamn fucking guy with a camera in the background.
Yeah.
You know how you accidentally see the fucking behind the screen people? Well, it looked just like that.
Yeah.
That situation.
And you have, because they reveal that in the first 10 minutes, like, oh, look, there's our killer. Not to mention, look, Carrie Elways, he's already our killer. We fucking predicted that.
Yeah.
Because he played Dr. Gordon, so we know it's fucking him.
We spent a lot of time about this girl who supposedly was raped. And we get this annoying mixed girl who basically is talking about men are fucking pigs, all men are evil, men this, men that. Could you imagine the roles reverse, or could you imagine what if uh, like all white people did something against another race, or vice versa,
That would be messed up.
it'd be messed up. It'd be shitty. It'd be uncalled for. You don't need that.
No.
So why is this permitted?
Yeah.
It's understand to be very strong woman, and I believe in strong women. But it's one thing to be very to say men are misogynists, but being it yourselves.
But
That's
also,
contradicting.
what's contradicting? Yeah, it's a double standard. You know why? Guess what? Ghostbusters 2016 did that
This is-
shit
yeah.
with the whole fucking thing about
This is all for all you men hating women, saying that we're weak and all this stuff, and then your whole movie you're talking shit about men being wussies and
yeah. Guess
men
what?
are rapists. All men are the same. They're all rapists. And then they also bring up a hint of racism because they made sure every fucking member was a fucking white guy in the film. And they make the only kind of he gets captured, but then he becomes a hero as somebody of a different color.
Yeah.
And it was basically a stab at her saying that white men are rapists.
Oh, it's like
This movie is no better than a KKK member making a movie or another racist group making a movie on another race they hate.
yeah. It
Like
doesn't make
seriously,
sense.
this was insulting.
Yeah.
But
even with that,
leaving the political shit out of
but
it,
even with that,
It's insulting
It's
as a remake.
insulting, but also it's fucking boring. Like the first hour, even all this shit going along, it's
Excuse me,
uninteresting.
text
It's all text messages of uninteresting shit, and
a statue of a statue that keeps texting this girl.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact that the kills, once again, G-13 slasher films that these need to stop fucking making. Get the lamest death scenes where you don't even see the killer like fucking stabbing them. You don't even see no blood. There's no. There's
more human blood in Gremlins than this.
and the fact that you see the fucking stairs coming a mile away. Like there's a part literally where the girl is at night and she's doing a tree. She goes outside her door, and I look in the background. I'm like, look, you see where the killer's coming? 3, 2, 1. There he is.
Yeah, there he is. And they kill him in the daytime in the most stupid.
They leave one of them on a fucking rooftop or a balcony, whatever, in the daytime. Fucking idiots.
Yeah.
And then we have characters that come in like later in the film that we even see before.
Oh yeah. Then you get to the climax, and of course we predicted this because we already heard about the whole fraternity thing. It's all in the trailers. There's more than one of them. Oh, they tried to do that big reveal where they do the loud music when the second one pops out after they thought they killed the only one.
Oh, yeah, fucking
And
lame
then-
way too with the
Why
key.
did you remember the trailer showed about 10 of them motherfuckers? So I already knew that.
Well, in the death scene with the keys.
So, oh yeah, this girl has like the smallest key in the world, about the size of this, and somehow, we don't see it, but we're indicated that she cut his entire throat open. Goddamn, one hell of a key.
even
I
still,
give up.
also,
Don't kill me.
and even still, the killers are using fucking bow and arrows too for some reason. And
Yeah, what the fuck is this, Robin Hood? I cannot believe the amount of fucking bow and arrows. Now, here's this thing that gets really out there. So they're after the girls, and by the way, they don't even warn us about a third act. It just abruptly just says, "Oh yeah, by the way, it's the third act."
yeah,
So they're after all the women. The women are fighting back, da 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 da, and then there's a scene where they think they killed all of them, but then they notice that they have to go to their lair.
yeah.
What? Please tell me right now, what does this got to do with Black Christmas? What did you see in '78 and 2006 that this has anything to do with it, other than the title?
Oh, here's what they're saying.
But here, I'll get to it in a second. So these girls are fucking. This is what confused me.
They send
There's all these girls fighting these guys, and they're all. I guess the editing might have didn't pay attention, and could be. I don't know. Anyways, I'm trying to say is half of our cast members ended up 10 miles down the road to another house, and we could swear or sworn they all were fucking in the same house together, and then now it happened in 2 different houses.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay, whatever. So then her and this guy that she's been taking a liking to
She
go
sends
to
him
the
in
lair,
there.
and then she's being a fucking ignorant fucker. But and nothing screams like a strong woman by sending a man as bait to get killed. Well, he doesn't get killed; he becomes one of them.
Yeah.
But they were gonna hurt him. And Carrie Ells and has captures the girls and what that girl, and basically they talk about what they've been doing. And oh godly, we already knew this was coming because the whole movie is centered around this girl who was possibly raped by this guy or was raped or whatever. And the guy reveals his mask like we're about to see the fucking killer and fucking or the monster and fucking Scooby Doo. Oh my god, I didn't know it was him. Jesus. Oh shit. So Carrie Ells is like the leader, and they all start wearing this black thing, worshiping this statue as a cult, and they're basically a woman hating, and they're there to destroy women.
Yeah, and also apparently this has to do with black magic because that screams fucking Black Christmas. Oh, black magic.
It happens on Christmas.
It happens on Christmas time.
The only thing that this movie had anything near Christmas, this is her equivalency of a fucking Christmas movie. Let's put a fucking ornament here, Christmas tree over there, and throw some snow outside, and it's a Christmas movie. Wow. Worst atmosphere I've ever
It
fucking
looked like a Lifetime movie, like actually shot on that level.
So, anyways, as the movie continues, they do this final act where we meet this other leader, which we thought Carrie Ells was the leader,
But apparently
and there's somebody that's more supernatural. And was it the statue as a monster?
yeah, it's like we don't know.
I don't know, but it was pretty much a great value Kylo Ren looking motherfucker.
Yeah,
Because he's doing that with his, and he crushes that one girl's throat.
snaps her or whatever.
I was like, God damn, I didn't know the Sith Lord was on Christmas. But anyways, does that, twists this one girl's head in the most fucking CGI way. It almost reminded me of that really funny scene that didn't hold up, Freddy vs. Jason, where he twists that one guy's head.
Yeah.
You weren't invited. And then you see the head twist. Her head almost does that. I'm like, oh my god, that was bad. And then we turn into fucking Suicide Squad here. Birds of Prey. You get that annoying ass woman. Oh my god, she just was irritating at every scene.
Well, in that scene,
And that one girl, the fucking mixed girl, and she's the one who's pretty much being fucking ignorant in the whole movie.
Yeah, it's always
saying racist shit.
Well,
saying racist shit and saying fucking anti sexual shit about men.
yeah, and about the whole poster about how there was all men on that poster.
Yeah, there's scenes where they're in school and they're literally she only fucking talks about why is there only white men in the poster? Why is there only this? Why is it fucking matter?
Why does it matter?
Watch two other. Well, the movie's already ruined. Anyways.
Yeah, but still.
So she says some one-liner shit that was painfully unfunny, and then next you know she's like women's assemble type shit. All these women that weren't
they get together and they start.
There's about 50 of them now, and they start killing every man, and that was the end of the movie.
And then they basically defeat the fucking big hunch easily.
You know how they beat after he had the superpowers. But how they really defeated him is the main actress looked at the statue and threw it on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could have my kid could actually did that. But that is being clumsy.
Yeah. And then you have it to where they burn the whole fucking place down and then they just see in fucking agony and I'm like, whatever. Now, does this have anything to do with Black Christmas?
This is the farthest stray away
Supernatural?
of a film, of a remake of all time. I've never seen a film stray away this.
I think, in my opinion, I think it's easily ahead of Day of Dead's remake from 2008 because that one strayed so far a fucking away from it.
I'm gonna have to disagree on one condition because the fact that they were able to use roads and all that they had Bud, but they used roads.
They had Bud, but in a shitty way.
But this film didn't have Billy and Agnes.
So
this movie had nobody.
Yeah.
This movie just said, "All right."
It's like Leprechaun Origins.
Black Christmas. Yeah, it's like that piece of shit. You know that movie where it was actually an alien that was
Looked like
fucking living in
Pumpkinhead.
Ireland that looked like Pumpkinhead.
Like,
And then, and when the movie was already done, they said, "Hey, throw a Lucky Charms scene and a coin at the end, and say fuck you, Lucky Charms at the end," and just strapped Leprechaun Origin on it.
yeah, it's like this.
But even that was even more closer because of that line. That's how far Black Christmas is. This is literally fucking that far. This movie is so far, it's so different.
Yeah.
So I don't ever want to see this movie again.
I don't either.
I would like if I hear anybody fucking talk about it, I'm gonna leave fucking the page instantly.
Yeah.
This movie, I would fucking wouldn't get no more joy out of than finding copies at Walmart and just busting it to save your sanity.
Yeah.
Fucking piece of shit.
Oh, just watch the original, or if for those of you who did enjoy it, watch the 2006 version. That's the far
If you
better
didn't,
remake.
I promise you, if you didn't like 2006, from what I've heard, good news is a lot of people actually said that after on seeing this, 2006
It probably needs an apology.
Yeah, and 2006 needs apology. If you don't like it, that's your opinion, and I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't argue if you don't like it or not. I'm just saying I liked it. You don't have to like it, but you can't sit here and admit that this new one is better than that.
Yeah.
No fucking way. That I will argue with you any type of day because our number one film easily is probably one of the worst films ever made.
It's one of that, and one of the worst movies of the decade. Of
Oh, yeah.
2010.
If we did, when we do a decade, I'm on top 10 decade, worst, best, whatever you want to call it. I will say that this is probably the worst movie I saw of the decade, easily, hands down.
You more Unfriended?
Yeah. Unfriended now look like Saving Private Ryan. Yeah. Movie 41 looked like Saving Private Ryan.
43. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Movie 43.
So,
yeah. I'm so lost right now. This movie, you talk about if any movie made me stupid tonight, it's this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So,
fair enough. Those of you let us know in the. Thanks so much, guys, for watching our rant on all the piece of shit movies of 2019 of all the worst.
and here's to good luck.
Here's
for
to good luck for
2020.
2020. And hopefully we get some good ones and dreading some bad ones probably too.
Yeah.
So those of you let us who have seen some of these other movies, and also let us in the comments about what you thought about them, and also what your 2019 worst movies were, and also best movies were as well. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like, subscribe to our channel, and check out some other reviews here and our website at filmphreaks.com. We'll see you in our next review. We'll see you later.
Later.